Now, several Marines erecting 2 crosses in Camp Pendleton to honor their fallen comrades. But a group of atheists now says those crosses must come down. Adam Housley reporting live from Camp Pendleton, California. Adam.
Yeah, John, no one even knew about these crosses over the course of the last 10 years until a newspaper article last fall detailed the location and even included a picture. Now there's a battle over whether these crosses should stay or come down. Planted atop a remote hill in the middle of California's Camp Pendleton Marine Corps base rest 2 13-foot crosses. Originally erected by Marines grieving over lives lost in the War on Terror, this site established for reflection has become grounds for controversy.
It's not a religious spot at all. It's a place for the Marines to grieve and to grow, to let go of their burdens, of what they have in their soul, so they can go back down that hill and back into battle and put their own lives on the line.
Karen Mendoza's husband was one of 7 Marines who originally planted a cross here back in 2003. Of those original 7, 3 have since been killed in action, including Karen's husband, Ray.
It's a symbol of sacrifice, regardless of what you think, pray, like, or don't like.
But not everyone agrees, and several atheist groups have filed complaints with the Marine Corps and threatened lawsuits arguing the crosses are a religious symbol and violate the separation of church and state.
This Christian cross, needs to go to a private Christian installation, and we need to stick to things that honor everyone equally and maintain neutrality towards government.
Getting to the crosses is no easy task. Here you find symbols of valor, sorrow, and festivity. Rocks left by service members, widows, and children represent the burden and battle to make the 3,000-foot climb up this hill.
It wasn't intended to be a religious memorial. It was intended just to be able to provide a fitting and a dignified memorial to their fallen comrades.
A group that filed the original complaint, the Military Association of Atheists and Free Thinkers, say they want the memorial to stay. They just want the crosses to go and replaced with something else like a globe or eagle or a flag. The Commandant of the Marines, John, is expected to rule on this any day.
Jonathan Seri reporting live there. Jonathan, stick with us. I'm sorry, Jonathan. Adam Housley. Wow, I'm getting my correspondents confused. Adam,
No
I
worries.
apologize for that.
All right.
I was thinking
No problem, John.
thinking about something else, including our next guest. Adam is going to stick with us as we get into this debate. John Flannery, maybe that's where I got the John from. John Flannery
Yes,
is a
John.
former federal prosecutor. Rachel Self, a criminal defense attorney. John, what's the problem with having crosses there? These Marines did this, of their own volition on land that is hardly visible to anybody else.
Well, it's not that it's hardly visible. It's at a Marine camp in Pendleton, and Semper Fi means always faithful to everybody, no matter what their faith. The men and women who risk their lives and die protecting this country are not just Christian. They are Jewish, they are Muslim, they don't have beliefs, they're atheists. So I think that the solution here is to have a memorial that is secular, that recognizes the contribution of those who risked their lives and even those who died creating a memorial. You don't have to remove anything else. And the separation of church and state, which I think is a valid argument, is not as important to me as that we're not treating and recognizing everybody's contribution. Why should we implicitly exclude those who are not Christian? This is not a place of solace for somebody who goes up there. If we had a Star of David, would we recognize that that symbol system was inclusive of everybody? No, and I don't think Jews would think that. We need a symbol system that includes everybody for their sacrifice. And this is not to the prejudice of having individual memorials all over the country for every kind of religion, but not on federal grounds, and certainly not on a Marine base.
Rachel, how do you answer that argument?
I say Arlington National Cemetery isn't decorated with rainbows, and I think that the cross is a traditional memorial. The cross is a traditional memorial, John, and if I may just have a moment.
It's on individual
if I may
grave
just have a moment, actually, I'd love to be able to respond to
Let her
that.
speak, John.
If I could just have a moment, I'd love it.
Hold on, John.
Time's up.
What we're dealing with here is that when considered in context, and when you listen to Ms. Mendoza, and when you listen to the people speak about why they erected these, it has a secular meaning. If you look at the Supreme Court case of 2005 of Van Orden, where they allowed the Commandments to stay on government property. It was because it had a secular purpose, a historical and social value, a historical and social meaning. And Miss Mendoza and the Marines that erected those crosses made very clear that was their purpose. They're not trying to promote some sort of religious agenda. They're trying to simply remember the fallen soldiers and whatever works for them. And this is not some offensive, in-your-face religious statement. Other religions do have crosses as well. So I think that they should be allowed to let these stay up and put up a Star of David if it helps you through this. Put up whatever you want if it helps you through this.
Well, John, I know you're chomping at the bit to get back in here, but let me bring back Adam Housley into the discussion, because a very important point came in the middle of Adam's story. Adam, Ray Mendoza is one of the Marines who erected these crosses. He has now been killed in combat along with 2 of the other 7 Marines who erected this memorial, right?
Yeah, John, in an eerie coincidence, today is Ray's birthday. We interviewed his widow yesterday, and she told us that fact, kind of an eerie coincidence as we do this story and look at this. One more thing to take into note also, Camp Pendleton is massive, it's vast. This is not an official site. This was, as you mentioned, 7 Marines who went up this hill. It's extremely brutal, and made this makeshift memorial, and it's become a bit more permanent, but there's a vast open area here, and the Marines didn't make this an official site of the Marines. This was done by 7 men on their own.
Yeah, so John, if the atheist Marines want to go pick another hilltop and build their own memorial, why can't they?
If it's off the 125,000 acres there at Camp Pendleton, that's fine. The reason we're talking about it today is obviously it is not invisible. It's real, and we know about it. And the sufferance of it is an example of sanctioning by the government. So the government is responsible for tolerating this symbol, which is a Christian symbol. It is not a Jewish symbol. It is not a sectarian symbol. Yeah. All of our monuments, our important monuments, do not have a religious overtone. And individual graves at Arlington reflect the individual belief system of the person who died in honor of their country. It's not a statement for all military when we put a cross, a Star of David, or an atheist sign on the tombstone of somebody at Arlington who gave their life.
But that argument, I mean, these were 7 Marines who hiked up 3,000 feet onto a hillside to erect a cross in memory of their friends.
Well, what if I go up that hill and erect something else? Because somebody does it doesn't make it right.
Well, and I say go for it. No, and I say go for it.
No, I don't think we should be going for it. I think it's wrong to go for it.
All right.
I think whatever helps these people remember their fallen soldiers is what they should be doing, so long as it doesn't have. Well, but they're not jamming some offensive.
If it hurts other people, it's not right. If it hurts other people, it's not right.
I think that the political correctness here and the fact that somebody feels that they're violated by somebody feeling violated by the fact that a cross was put up by a Marine to support and memorialize what his sacrifice that he's making.
It's not their belief system, and
they shouldn't be jamming their belief system down someone's throat.
We are going to have to.
They gave their lives to this country.
We're going to have to leave it there. We will certainly.
The money in your wallet doesn't say anything other than "In God we trust."
We will certainly bring our viewers up.
Shouldn't say that.
The Marine Commandant is going to make a decision, as Adam Housley said. Adam, thanks for joining us. Rachel Self, John Flannery as well.
Thank you.
We'll keep an eye on